I can tell you that I want a system that can do X, Y, and Z. The big challenge was, how do I get there? By bringing in SkyPoint Cloud, we were able to create that roadmap to understand the discrete steps we needed to take and then start doing the build. My name is David Silverman, and I am the Chief Operating Officer for Northwest Acute Care Specialists. We kind of work for a hospital system. All of the data that we generate clinically, we have very limited visibility into it. The clinical data exists within the EMR itself. The claims data exists within our billing and coding company. What shifts we work and who work those shifts, that exists within our shift administration software. And finally, who our people are and what they are licensed to do exists within our HR system. None of these systems talk to each other. So for us, the big challenge is, how do we pull in 4 different data sources to create this data warehouse that we can then use to relay information back to our providers? We had been running SQL natively on a server, and we knew that we weren't able to keep up with all the industry standards when it comes to cybersecurity. We felt that we were better protected by going to Azure. One, we felt if we were going to use Power BI as a visualization tool, we wanted to stay in the Microsoft stack. A second reason is that the health system legacy surfaced all the clinical data in their instance of Azure. So creating that Azure to Azure connection has been super simple. When we started getting down to understanding some of the technical aspects of what we were doing with the SkyPoint team, that made all the difference. Everything from understanding the schema and how that schema that they were creating for the data warehouse allowed us to grow. It didn't paint us in a corner for future work. I think that was a big impetus for us going down the route we did with SkyPoint. It's a well thought out data warehouse that allows us to quickly then create those visualizations that are meaningful to us. And that's the most important thing. The schema has to be smart. It has to be extensible, and it has to have the ability to grow. And that's really what SkyPoint did. It was really about creating a data warehouse that was smart. On January 1st of this year, all the insurers changed the process for how they reimburse emergency care providers. Within 2 weeks of that transition, I was able to share with our providers how well they were doing in their billing and coding compared to how well they were doing prior to the change. That's not something we could have done before having a data warehouse. It would have been blind to us. By being able to track this change in billing and coding, we have seen no deterioration of our revenue. In fact, we've seen a slight increase. And in speaking with our billing and coding company, most companies have seen a fall off because they are not able to track how well they're doing. It turns out within Epic, when you look at who provides care in the emergency room, they categorize every single provider that touched that patient as an emergency physician. Our big challenge was going through the thousands of physicians to find ours. Well, it's pretty easy when you have a data warehouse, because what we were able to do was use the registry number out of our own HR system, match it to the registry number within the EMR, and only pull out those encounters that involved our specific physicians. That saved hours and hours of time every month. Our relationship with SkyPoint has really been a partnership. I know everyone throws that word around. It's kind of the buzzword, but truly they've been a partner. They've listened. They've tried their very best to understand a very complicated process. I mean, how many vendors do you know would actually go to the emergency department to watch your providers work so that they can better create a data warehouse that would meet your needs? That's pretty impressive. And that makes a huge difference in terms of the work they've created for us. They really want to understand our business before they went off and built the data warehouse. And that was a critical element to our success.